This is the current Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, and this, amongst everything, he decides to put a picture up on social media to show, of course, well, he's just like you and I, walking the dogs. Thing is, as we know, there's nothing about him that's like you and I, simply because, as we know, he walks out and about with full security. This is the problem with the current Mayor of London. The previous Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, who then went on to become, of course, the Right Honourable Boris Johnson and a British Prime Minister, well, you often saw him on his bicycle. He preferred to go everywhere by pedal power. How times change. Now, as you can see and know, earlier this year, of course, that particular individual, the current Mayor of London, well, he was given a knighthood, which shocked a lot of people out at Windsor Castle. But then things took a turn for the worst. As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today, and as ever, welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Lovely to have your company. This building behind me here holds so much history. In fact, well, lots of big things happened at the Huddersfield Town Hall. In fact, many concerts now take place, and that's really what keeps it alive. One wonders what people do inside town halls anymore. As you can imagine, it doesn't matter where you are in the United Kingdom, seemingly all the councils have gone bust. Hence the reason there's not much activity here. But way back, the likes of Harold Wilson, who then went on to become a British Prime Minister, would have sat inside here to debate chambers and all manner of different things. Now, this particular man, as I said, Sadiq Khan, you would have thought, well, he liked to tell you at least, that he had an excellent and close relationship with our wonderful His Majesty the King, King Charles III. And when I say that, you know, you have to be respectful. He is the king, whether you like him or not. And I understand there's two sides to every story, but you wouldn't be disrespectful, of course, towards Queen Elizabeth. So right now, he is, of course, our reigning monarch. Now, if you remember, when Sadiq Khan got knighted, lots of people were shocked, very many people indeed. And Sadiq couldn't wait to rush out to tell the, well, few press at least, that he'd allowed in and making sure that they would write only positive things about him. That, well, in fact, he and the king had an argument as to who was the hardest worker. Yeah, that took all in a few seconds to work that out because, as we know, His Majesty the King is one of the most busiest monarchs on record. Still, even though, having facing the health problems that he has, he's still racking in those, appointments and, of course, visits, openings, all sorts of stuff. It's very hard to define exactly how busy Sadiq Khan is. But Sadiq is a person that likes to get next to the relevant people. And according to a very well-placed source, as we know, was mightily miffed when the President of the United States came over and had a second official state visit. Now, as we also know, the President Trump and Sadiq Khan are no fans of each other, both slinging arrows back and forth. One might suggest, of course, that we're very grateful for the fact that President Trump is standing up for us. Absolutely. But here's where it gets interesting because allegedly, behind the scenes, a very good source tells me that Sadiq Khan reached out because he wanted to be part of that official state dinner. He didn't like the fact that brand new people had just come into government, like the current British Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood. Well, suddenly she's parachuted in. Remember, no Angela Rayner because she's disgraced herself. Many other different people, including the Ambassador to the United States, Lord Peter Mandelson. So if these people were removed, well, there was going to be gaps. As you can imagine, nobody seemingly, including his good friend, the current British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer, well, he didn't want to risk it, did he, for a biscuit, by getting, of course, Khan to come in. So according to the source, and this is where it gets interesting, Sadiq reached out to the courtiers to say, well, would the king like him to attend as the Mayor of London? He was prepared to put grievances on one side and just simply represent this once great, wonderful city. It's a shame he doesn't do more of it and get on with the work. But clearly what happened behind the scenes was simply that, well, the king naturally had to remain neutral, couldn't get political. And as far as he was concerned, and apparently this was fed back, and again, I have to say, allegedly, back to City Hall, was no, he couldn't intervene. No more than he could intervene with President Trump and, of course, his youngest son's visa problem. But of course, as I said at the start of the video, the problem for Sadiq Khan is, good or bad, he likes to be at the centre of the, whatever's happening. And as you can see, when he popped up at the Platinum Jubilee celebration, or indeed the coronation celebration, he wanted to be front, right, centre, simply because he likes to be part of history, whether he's doing good history or bad history. But what do you think? Neil Shawn, outside Huddersfield Town Hall, West Yorkshire.